Who remembers the name Darren Till, the UFC prospect from Liverpool, my home city? Well, kind of like Jorge Masvidal, he just had his debut boxing match on the weekend. The fight ended abruptly, and there was a bit of chaos and controversy surrounding how the fight ended, and then there was a big brawl after the fight. So we're going to watch the highlights of the fight and check out this brawl and the post-fight fallout and Darren Till's reaction to everything that happened. Now, Darren Till at one point within the UFC was looking like he was going to be the next welterweight or even maybe middleweight world champion. He gave Stephen Wonderboy Thompson a pretty close fight. He did the same to Robert Whittaker. And then what happened to him? Last thing we heard of him, he was training with Khamzat Chimaev, or should we call him Scamzat? And then Darren just kind of fell off the map. Well, on the weekend, Darren Till made his pro boxing debut against a pro MMA fighter called Mohammad Mutie, and it was at a boxing event called Social Knockout. It was a YouTuber influencer boxing event in Abu Dhabi. And much to my surprise, Salt Poppy was also fighting on this event. As you can see here, he gets a knockdown on this guy from a body shot, and then another one right there. Ouch! We can see here that the face-off got quite heated.
You remember George Jorge Masvidal? Masvidal? Jorge! Look this way! Jorge Masvidal! Whole main event. Show me where is it?
Quite controversial opinion, but I think Darren Till might be running some mild gear. Maybe a little bit of Anavar, just the way those muscles are popping. And I'm not trying to discredit any of his hard work, but no longer being in the UFC under the strict drug testing protocols, I think a lot of these fighters who leave the UFC, I think they start running some gear. So as you could hear there, that Mohammad Mutie was saying, how many times you slipped? Remember against Jorge Masvidal? Darren Till was taking it in his stride. He was laughing. Bit of a heated nature behind this fight. Anyway, let's see how the fight pans out.
He has given us time and time again amazing appearances. Southpaw for Darren Till, erratically, if I may say so. Oh, well, it's the first boxing match for both of them, my friend. Game plan all together in a sense that, you know, you got to kind of, you know, he's trying to just get one.
So Darren Till is obviously going to be looking for the left hand, fighting in the southpaw stance. Nice right hook by Darren. Mohammad Mutie, he seems like he's looking for that one punch KO. That uppercut is there for Darren as well. See the way Mohammad's dipping his head down? Darren can catch him with an uppercut there.
Happening, couple of shots. Till hits him there with a nice right.
Till hit. Now, the commentators said that Mohammad Mutie got the first round, although, as we spoke about in yesterday's video, talking about Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz, their fight on the weekend, Masvidal landed the bigger shots. However, because Nate Diaz was pressing the action a lot more, that's how boxing is scored. You could land a lot less damaging shots, but if it looks like you are controlling the pace and you're putting the pressure on, that looks favourable in the eyes of the judges. And similar right here, Mohammad Mutie, he might have landed more shots. In all honesty, I wasn't counting and I wasn't scoring, but Darren Till was pressing the action. So just from general optics, it looks like Darren Till won that first round. However, it doesn't matter because the fight ends in this second round abruptly. Let's watch.
Play around, and I think now we're going to see the true color of the UFC champ.
It's not an MMA fight, Mohammed. What's he doing?
Say by that, unlearning the MMA thing in you.
Okay, so Mohammed is complaining about something there. I'm not too sure. I don't also like the way Mohammed is covering up. Doesn't seem like he's covering up intelligently. It's not like he's covering up like this. It seems like he's covering up and hiding away from those shots that Till's throwing. Right now, this is where things get interesting.
But Mohammed's not fighting. He's like, there's no, I don't see any technique of jab, cross, or anything. You know, the ref called timeouts. I didn't see anything. I don't know if you did, but I didn't really see much. So, did you see anything? I didn't. Oh wow, he's calling the fight. The ref's calling the fight.
And just like that, the fight is over. Now that's not the end. That's not the drama, by the way. There's a huge brawl. I'm just trying to tell the story and rack up the watch time. Let's watch the slow motion.
Here's a grab. Okay, there's an underhook there. There's one hit.
Right.
It wasn't that bad of a hit.
To be fair, the back of the head punches, you don't need a lot of power in order to feel them. I've taken some light punches to the back of my head, and it certainly made me go a bit, ooh, well, okay. I'm about 10% rocked there. But Darren Till doesn't look like he puts any pop in that punch. And
okay, there's an underhook there. There's one hit.
And that's enough for them to roll around on the floor and the fight to be called off. I don't know about that. And also, it's not Darren Till's fault. Mohammed has got his head turned to the right. Look at when Darren Till starts throwing the punch. So he starts throwing the punch here. Now, Darren Till's eyes are down. He can't see where Mohammed's head is anymore. But Darren has already committed to the punch. And then he throws it as Mohammed is turning his head. So that's not Darren's fault. That's Mohammad's fault, although it is just a freak accident at the end of the day. But Darren didn't do anything wrong here. At the bare minimum, Mohammad should get a few minutes to recover and then decide if he wishes to continue, because it was a back of the head shot. Right, now here is where it gets a little bit crazy. I've also got to chop and edit what we see here now as well, just to make sure the work is transformative. Me posting and reacting to this does not replace watching the original video. I have to say that for copyright purposes.
Darren Till, this should not be done.
But Mutie is clearly upset. Look at Darren Till. He's just chilling. He's not entertaining any of this bravado whatsoever. This is a classic case of hold me back, bro, hold me back. The moment someone starts trying to pull them away, that's when they get aggressive. Now watch this. Darren Till goes Muay Thai mode.
A fight just erupted in the middle of the cage. A big fight happened.
And Till still gets taken down. Outside the UFC, Till gets taken down again. Oh, that takedown defense. At least this doesn't contribute towards the official UFC stats.
Big fight erupts.
Till and Mohammad are literally underneath this big pylon here. Now, if you'd ask me, Till didn't do anything wrong. Mohammad Mutie attacked Darren Till. Darren Till was defending himself. And look at Mutie's team. This guy here in particular with the vest on. And then this guy just above me with his hands up here. They're all attacking Darren Till. Absolute chaos. But let's just take a little look at this exchange in slow motion, because the kickboxer comes out of Darren Till. So Mohammad approaches Till right here, and then Darren lifts his knee up, threatens the kick. As soon as one guy throws a kick, the less experienced guy who doesn't know how to kick will usually mimic that movement. But look what he does. He was going in to throw a punch. Darren Till feints the kick, and then watch Mohammad Mutie now. So Mutie throws a kick himself. Now he actually catches Darren Till in the arse a little bit. Darren Till goes for his signature left hand, but it doesn't really go anywhere. It's almost like he punches Mutie's arm, and then Mutie has got his head turned away and his arm fully extended. Good technique there from Mohammad Mutie. We'll call him Mohammad Booty because that's what his fighting skills are like. Absolute booty. Look at Mutie's head. If Darren Till would have thrown a 1-2 high kick, Leon Edwards style, against Kamaru Usman, that would have been lights out for Mohammad Booty. So imagine that left kick coming high right there. It would have came under this guy trying to break it up and would have went bang right in Booty's face. So from there, he backs up a little bit. Darren's like, come head then. I know that Darren Till there said, come head. And for my American audience, come head means come on. Come head then. Come head then. That's what us Scousers say. This is the Shaun Jones lip-syncing breakdown. Drop a like on the video for the lip-sync breakdown. So he goes, come head then. As you see it, once again, come head. Mutie goes for the single leg. Darren Till tries to defend it. Darren Till wasn't expecting a wrestling exchange, especially when you're in the boxing ring. Mutie's still got his gloves on. He's wrestling with his gloves on. Darren Till gets taken down. Darren Till really should get a point deducted from this brawl just for holding on to the ropes there. Right, now here is Darren Till post-fight reacting to what went down.
You had about 2 fights in one night, Darren?
Yeah, about 5-10. Do you know what? He just didn't want to be there. The guy just felt like he made this big facade, this big entrance, and then he just ran through a few hooks, and then he got hit to the back of the head. He's an MMA fighter, so he's used to getting back of the head, so that's all excuses. If you're a fighter, you're a fighter. If you're not, you're not. You know, he just didn't want to be there. And then after, he's rolling around on the ground for 20 minutes, and I'm just like, is this what my debut's come to? And then he comes over to me saying, I want to fight. I'm like, you don't want to fight me. You've just been rolling around for 20 minutes. And I said, you're a coward. And then he's trying to run at me, so I'm going to I'm a fighter at the end of the day. I'm going to self-defend myself. And it just sort of broke out from there. But
now I actually agree with Darren Till on that. Why did Mohammad Mutie roll around trying to get the disqualification, obviously, but then the moment that the fight was over, he came over to Darren Till and he was completely fine to fight then. So now he wants to fight. He didn't want to fight a minute ago, no, because he's like these football players where they get tapped on the back and they roll around on the floor and go, I even said in that second round, the way he was holding his hands, you could tell he didn't want to get hit. He wanted the DQ win. Now, since the fight and the last few weeks in general, he's been calling out different fighters like Jake Paul. I actually like that matchup. I think it'd be very interesting. Darren Till's big. Jake Paul would no longer have the size advantage over his opponents like he usually does. And then he posted this, Darren Till versus Diaz, and he said, just thinking, I need a real boxing fight. The top comment said, how did you get single-legged by a boxer? He was actually an MMA fighter. Sorry, secret juice addict. Who's that? Paulo Costa. Or you could have Darren Till versus Masvidal in the rematch. The winner gets Nate Diaz. Something like that. But we actually know Masvidal is going to go back to the UFC because he was still under contract when he left. The UFC said, you can go and do this boxing thing with Nate Diaz, but you still have to come back and fulfill your contract with us. Darren Till was let completely go from his contract. Nate Diaz apparently wants to get back into the UFC. So I think with these little boxing fights, I don't think they're going to go anywhere, but it's a small little circle. Now you've got Darren Till, Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal, Jake Paul, Mike Perry, all these fighters who are crossing over into boxing. Makes for interesting matchups and a little bit of entertainment. Darren Till also shared this on his story. Next fight in 4 to 8 weeks. Okay, so he's going to have another fight in 4 to 8 weeks. That's actually pretty decent. I'd like to see a bit of activity out of Darren Till. I definitely think he could take another run at this. Maybe this is the start of Till getting back in there, getting back on the wagon. I hope he's nursed all his injuries and he can come back and actually do a good 5-year run, especially within the UFC. But he needs to work on that takedown defense. You can't be getting taken down by a part-time boxer and a 2-win, 2-loss MMA fighter. Come on. At one point in Darren Till's career, his takedown defense was fantastic. He had a great sprawl. We haven't really seen that recently, probably because of the injuries. So hopefully he gets those injuries fixed, does a few boxing events, and then maybe gets back in the UFC within the next year or so. Till, if you're watching this from one Scouser to another, all the best, and let's see where this takes him from here on out. Also, congratulations to the people who've made it this far in the video. I just want to tell you, I've got a new song out now. First link in the description. It's hype. Add it to your gym playlists. I think you'll like it. Like this video. Peace out. See you tomorrow.